Well, good day, folks. I'm in beautiful California. Mostly it's a great state to live in. We've got a little insanity at the top, but if we can change that, I think that there's real possibilities for California to be golden again. Today, I am interviewing somebody that I believe is part of that solution, that I think she has some ideas to bring change, to fix California. She's running for an important position, insurance commissioner. Welcome, Stacy. Forgive me, Korsgaden.
Korsgaden, that is right.
I did
Thank
get
you
it
so
right.
much for having me.
Well, welcome. So tell me a little bit about your family. That just kind of gives people a sense of who you are, where you come from.
Absolutely. So I was born in Southern California, and my family, we moved to Visalia. So I was raised in Visalia, California. At the time was a very big ag community, about 10,000 people. It's grown a lot since then.
Yes, it has.
But I moved from Visalia after going to College of the Sequoias, a junior college in Visalia. Then I went to Cal Poly University and graduated in business management at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and where I ended up staying and having a business, having a family, and having a business here in Grover Beach, California.
Oh,
and
beautiful
that
little
is
place.
where I actually had business for about 36 years.
And I'm assuming that business had something to do with insurance.
You are correct.
Unlike our current insurance commissioner that doesn't seem to have any experience in insurance.
Well, I guess I should add that detail, shouldn't I? Yes, I graduated and I wanted to stay in the area, and I did some research and I ended up getting licensed and being an insurance professional for 36 years. And I served my community, and I had policyholders all over the state of California. And I'm proud to say that the reason I can tell it was successful is I had clients for a long period of time, and I kept those relationships. And out of 15,000 agents, I was picked to be the top 150 agents across the country. And that was dedicated because of service and customer service and production. And so top 150 agents out of 15,000, and that was for 14 years of my career. So I was very proud of that because it was service oriented. And that's what I want to translate. That's why I'm running for insurance commissioner, because our current system in California is very broken because of weak leadership. And I can't stay out of this race. I'm in it to win it, to bring service to California.
Okay. So what is insurance? Kind of just a basic idea. And
Sure.
Why would we need it?
Well, insurance, that is a great question. In my career, there were people that felt that they didn't need it. And that's a hard conversation, but most people, I would say 95% of the people that I dealt with felt that insurance was a very important security. It's a safety blanket, and it protects the things that you love or that you've worked hard for. For example, home. You work hard in California to finally get a home in California, and you want to insure against a catastrophic loss like fire, theft, vandalism, etc. Same thing with auto insurance. That's a requirement by the state law to drive a car in California. People have businesses, they have employees, they're required to have work comp. So insurance is the foundation and the security necessary to protect the thing that an individual has built in their life. And many times, in my career, I watched people go through these tragedies. And first of all, it's an honor to walk through that journey with people to make sure that they get through it successfully. And I always tell people that the work of a proper insurance advisor, it begins before the policy is written. You've got to ask a lot of questions. You've got to know your clients. You have to understand risk.
There we go.
And,
Sorry, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I'm kind of, you're cutting out for me too. Hopefully I'm being heard.
Well,
Can you hear me okay?
Most of it's good.
Okay. So the work of an insurance advisor really begins before a policy is written. You have to understand where the risk is and then place a product on it. Well, let's talk about what the insurance commissioner's role, that the system is functioning properly so that there is an abundance of product available, is really broken.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me, Eric?
The audio was good. We've had some problems with video, but I think you're back.
Okay.
So
I don't know if it's on my end or your end.
I don't know. My tech is working on our end right now.
Okay.
So if you were insurance commissioner, what is the job supposed to be? Because we know what's happening, like our current insurance commissioner thinks he needs to trot the globe. Not quite sure how that has to do with insurance in California. Spend a crazy amount of money. What is it supposed to do? And then what staff and budget do you have that you can push in a direction?
3 main functions, Eric. The first one is to regulate insurance companies. The way that they've been regulated is, in my opinion, they've been doing it incorrectly, but that's regulate insurance companies. Okay. Number 2, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. Number 2 is to license. We have to license agents and companies. And number 3, the third big function, is to go after fraud.
Okay.
And in all 3 areas, the current department is really failing. So I always like to stay hopeful in my communication and my, I can easily state everything that's wrong, but I can tell you that those 3 functions are easily fixed with effort and someone that knows what they're doing, which I do. So those 3, regulating insurance companies, licensing, and coming down hard on fraud, all of those, I would give the department really an F grade. Since 1990, since the commissioner has been an elected position, a commissioner that has had any insurance experience. Shocking.
That is
so no insurance experience. So I would be the first.
That encapsulates California's insanity right there.
Well, we've had so the trend has been to elect one party in California, and it has served to our detriment. We need people that are experienced, that know what they're doing, and have shown a capacity for very strong positive results. And the man that's in there right now I don't think has ever held a private job. It's always been in quote unquote public service, and public service he has not accomplished. So he should never hold I always say his name because I want people to remember he should never hold a public office again, because for 8 years he has failed us. His name is Ricardo Lara, and he has served himself and not the public. So I don't want to see him in public office again. I'm looking to replace him. He is termed out, so I won't be running against him. But he also should not run again.
Yeah, we wouldn't want him to move up. So how many people would you be managing that could help you accomplish this goal?
There is a staff of 1,400 employees, and the budget is $350 million. The insurance industry brings $4 billion, that's with a B, in tax dollars into the general fund.
So their profits are so big that just their tax portion is $4 billion.
So let's look at it differently.
Their value's got to be way bigger.
Well, let's look at this at a sense of how the consumers are suffering. Right now, there's no abundance of product for us to choose. And a lot of people, when they're getting their home insurance, they can only go to the FAIR plan. So we have an environment where risk is going up in California. We aren't taking care of our lands. We aren't taking care of our water. We aren't mitigating fire risk, and we are closing prisons. So risk is going up. Premiums are going up because of decisions that are being made. So if taxes are being applied to a product where cost is going up, and those tax dollars go into the general fund, who benefits from that? It's the people in Sacramento. It
Or
is a cash cow.
government workers of various sorts, whether
Well,
it's an
government
elected,
plans,
whether it's elected or not.
right. So it's a very convoluted, sick situation because the insurance companies are dealing with a rising risk environment, so the public doesn't feel safe. And either do the insurance companies. And then because of Prop 103, most people don't even know about this regulation. The insurance companies are hampered and limited on raising rates. So the insurance companies are saying, no way, I don't want to be in California. So they're backing off. Then they go and then people have to be forced into this fair plan with rising premiums, terrible coverage. And then who benefits? The lawmakers in Sacramento, where they can spend our tax dollars. So it's very convoluted and very dysfunctional.
So the free market has been interrupted.
Yes. The
And,
free market has been
and
interrupted.
then they've created a government system, what you referred to as the FAIR Plan. So
It is a private plan, but mandated by the government.
I would expect that every time a government agency takes over something that the private sector could do better, we have problems. It's like they want socialized medicine. Well, it sounds like we have just a tiny step away from socialized insurance.
We have candidates, Eric, that are running in this race I'm running against that are wanting a government solution only. We are one election away from losing an abundance of insurance options. Right now, we have a quasi government private, which is purgatory. It's purgatory because we don't truly have a free market, and the safety net provided by this fair plan is insufficient. So my stance when I'm elected as I will communicate to our leaders in the insurance committees, both Assembly and Senate. I am ready to sit in that chair to communicate. We need to lower the risk. We need to create defensible states, defensible space around our communities. We need to thin our forest. We need to manage our lands. We need to manage our waters. We have environmental policies that are killing our environment. So I will be explaining how we need to lower our risk. I will open up. This is where the hope comes in. This is where I will open up a new business division at the Department of Insurance that will open up capital and new companies to come into the state of California, a free market that will compete against the existing carriers that are here, and then also get people off of the FAIR plan. We have to remove people off of this terrible program marketplace. When we have an abundance of product, we will see a lowering of cost and premium. It's the only way. We can't continue down the path that we're on.
So I want you to give an example. You kind of alluded to ways to mitigate risk.
Right.
Let's pick crime. How would we mitigate risk there with crime?
Well, number one, I want people to look at voting in Michael Gates. Michael Gates is running for Attorney General, and he would be a leader. He would be the state leader, and he is advocating for strict penalties on crime. Now, we voted in Prop 36, but we aren't funding Prop 36. So 70% of the people are concerned about smash and grab and all of the different laws that were implemented about 10, 15 years ago that we were loose on crime. All of that relates to insurance. Someone snatches a purse or clothing or at a retail service and it's accepted. Well, they're going to turn that claim into an insurance policy. Well, so do you see how all of this relates to insurance? So if we reduce crime, then that is one part of the puzzle where our risk factors, which that a risk factor is what an insurance policy covers, will become more favorable to this, number one, the security of the homeowner, the business owner, but also to insurance companies. My idea that I'm excited about is for fire reduction. And I have visited all over the state, and I'm most impressed with the small town of Paradise, which had a devastating loss where I think 85, 88 people perished in that terrible fire. The town was completely destroyed. But what has sprung from Paradise is an example of what we can do across California. It's a group of people, a group of organizations that are working together to reduce fire risk. So we talk about how do we bring a defensible space. That is a coordination, what I see through the fire safe councils, through the counties. We have 58 counties in California. The state of California, I pray for a very strong governor that will prioritize fire reduction, fire mitigation procedures. That can be funneled through our local fire safe councils in coordination with homeowners, councils, CAL FIRE, the federal government, together with our fire safe councils in our counties. This can be like a Marshall program, a Marshall plan for fire reduction. It's a 911 situation. We didn't have these mega fires in California until starting, it's been about 20 years.
Well, that coincides with lack of maintaining fire roads, underfunding, not allowing thinning, eliminating almost of all logging through the whole state.
Yep. So do you see how I always tell people that insurance is the foundation, but insurance tells the story. Insurance tells us the risk. It tells us the state of a person's life. If someone is not healthy, we cannot insure that life. But if someone takes care of if someone they take care of their health, we can insure that life. California has a life of its own. California is not insurable. It is not healthy right now. This is where the hope comes in, Eric. We can change that. Like a person, they can start exercising. They can eat better. We can change the state of that person oftentimes.
Well, but we got to put different things into the body of Sacramento, meaning different people in this case.
The example of that is so strong because we need leaders that know what good management, what is right, what not. We've been taken down a path of make-believe. We have been taken down a path, I'll just give you an example, of environmental policies that have destroyed our environment. Californians love our environment. We love our trees, our forests, our seas. We love to surf. We're very active. We love to hike. Mm-hmm. If you look at above Shaver Lake, above Fresno, in Shaver Lake, there was a creek fire that occurred in 2020. That was 6 years ago. Just about 6 years. I want to say it was August
of 2020.
Right. Is that right?
That it's real. I don't remember if that was the exact start, but that was the point where it got bad for sure.
Yes. And so if you go up there today, which I did a couple months ago, it was between snowstorms, but I go up there a lot. In certain parts, it still looks like a moonscape. Mm-hmm. And I've asked people, well, why is that? Why aren't we seeing, I've heard that when fire comes through, it regenerates the earth and it regenerates the seed pods and things grow. No, not in these mega fires. It's so hot that it destroys some kind of I'm not a biologist, but it destroys the soil content where it makes it hard for the rebirth of these plants and the foliage and these trees to sprout up again. It's very apparent to me because if you go drive up there, it looks desolate.
Well, so it basically cooked all the seeds so they would no longer germinate, as well as killed the soil.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you. And so we have environmental policies that they claim to love and cherish the environment, I guess, but they're destroying it. So we have people that are not making decisions that are good for California. We understand that maybe clear cutting in the past was terrible. We're beyond that. Now we've gone all the way to our forests, and we need to come back to a moderate place where we thin our trees and we remove our the dead plants and clean the forest bottom floor, so we don't have these escalating stacked brush and fuel that turn into these mega fires.
Well, when you have a healthy forest, and the Indians, before the Spanish got here to California,
Right.
they burned sections of the forest to clear it, to regenerate. But when you have big, healthy trees, all that does is kind of singes the bottom of the tree and clears off the brush.
Right.
It allows for grass and other types of growth. When you have a mega fire, it just kills everything. So our solution is to do nothing and be hands off, but eventually we have a fire, we pay the price.
Well, we also pay tax dollars for our forest management, and I expect a return. And I expect to communicate that the laws or the CEQA requirements that hamper in the name of environmental protection, we are destroying our environment. So we have to have leaders that have common sense. And so as insurance commissioner, I will be able to sit in the insurance hearings and be able to articulate that we in California do not feel safe from mega fires. We don't feel safe from crime. And because of that, the insurance companies don't feel safe. We do not have an avenue to enter capital and new insurance companies because of this risk.
PG&E gets blamed for what happened in Paradise. I don't know. I think there's multiple factors, and I don't think it's as simple as PG&E. The thing that blows my mind is that PG&E donated some money to the governor, and then magically somehow those commissions that review things said, well, PG&E is going to be held harmless. Does your office have anything to do with that?
Well, it does, in the sense that now I do not know the particulars on that instance, but let's talk about the positive. If any entity is, before I go to the positive, if any entity is responsible, they ultimately need to pay. You can't just waive responsibility. So if PG&E is responsible, they need to pay, and they need to make whole the clients that were damaged in that claim. So that's just a broad. In Paradise, what I really like is they're burying all of the utilities. So it's going to prevent those kinds of things from happening. On the other end, I've also heard that the utilities have had some limitations on clearing brush on or around their lines because of environmental limitations.
Exactly. Again, that's why it's more complicated.
Yeah. I'm not an expert here, but we need to, again, work together to lower the risk, and that would mean allowing the PG&E, all of the utilities, Edison as well, and being able to clear in the event of a windstorm or some kind of storm where there's a line failure that it doesn't start a fire.
Well, and small
and
trees.
When it comes,
I'll let you finish your point.
No, I'm finished on that. Okay. But bottom line is we work together there.
Okay. Well, because by not clear cutting, we don't want to clear cut, but by not at least selectively logging and by not having fires, it used to be that there were somewhere around 50 trees per acre. We have records going back to the 1920s of the Shaver area, specifically Shaver area. And in areas where they have a big devastating fire, all the big trees, everything dies. Eventually, it's all small trees, but instead of there being 50 trees per acre, there's 200. And every one of those wants some of the water. So it's also affecting the water table, which affects all of the water downstream because it's being sucked up into those small trees that are not very fire resistant like big trees.
So I I am not a specialist on the botany and the number per acre, but I have specialists. We
Hmm.
have people that understand good, healthy forest management, and we aren't utilizing them. What's taken over our state of California is an unhealthy environmental protection that's destroying our environment. So, what really upset me about the Shaver Lake is that there was a burn that was actually okayed. It was green lighted with Governor Newsom. They had green lighted on the CEQA requirements, and it was above. It was below Shaver Lake. It was between Fresno and Shaver. It had a green light. It was scheduled. I think it was called I want to say it was the Garnet Fire. I'm not really sure the name of it, but um, it was scheduled in September of 2023. It never happened. And in 2024, the fire occurred and it got out destroyed. It's called a stand of trees.
Hmm.
And it was a group of trees that were 500 years old. That upset me so much. And it was because of the inability to get the job done. And it's unacceptable. We need new leaders. We need new leaders in California. And we need people that know how to get the job done, bottom line.
You mentioned Michael Gates. Are there other people, if you got to Sacramento, that you would consider to be friends or allies?
Yes, I am an advocate and I am endorsing the Hilton Golden Ticket. Now, I know that your audience is probably equally split.
They are. I have some issues with Hilton, some issues with Bianco, but I favor Hilton. But the truth is, if we see some big trend, the other pulls ahead at the end, June primary, that's assuming they don't both make it through to the general.
Mhm.
I'm voting for the one that's in the lead. Again, I
Right.
favor Hilton, but and I've met both men. I've talked to both men. I've interviewed Hilton. I've not had the chance to interview Bianco, but I've talked to him several times. I like some things about both of them. I'm worried about a few things about both of them, but they are infinitely better than what we have in Sacramento.
So, Eric, let me tell your audience why I'm choosing to endorse Hilton. He has approached me with his insurance plan on the legislative side and as the chief executive officer of our state. It was proactive. It was very, very detailed. It would be a game changer for me as the commissioner working with a governor, excuse me, that with his plan, and I support his plan. I also am supporting Michael Gates, who is on the ticket because of his stance, his hard stance on protecting the public. Herb Morgan, who's running for controller. The reason he is fabulous and has an incredible plan in going after fraud and being our we have so much money in this state, and we're rated 50th in so many services.
Yes.
It's unacceptable. We have the money, it's being diverted to someone's pocket. And then Gloria Romero, I'm in support of Gloria Romero because she would sit on the lands committee and she would be in alignment of taking proper care of our lands and our water. So his ticket, the golden ticket, is the one that I'm endorsing 110%.
Well, I understand all those. I don't know Gloria as well as everybody else. I have met and talked to her. Seems like a nice lady. Just don't know her well enough to say a whole lot. She's running for lieutenant governor, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, it's good to have some allies.
I think that she would be a good person to interview. She's impressive.
Okay. I will absolutely reach out to her and see if I can make that happen.
Great.
So, where would we find more about you? I know we're not down to the end yet, but I want people to, we're having a conversation here, but they might go, I have this specific question. Where would they find out more?
So my website is stacyforinsuranceCommissioner.com, STACYFOR, insurancecommissioner.com. And on that website, you will see some articles that I've written. You'll also see some videos that I've participated in. I'll put this one on there as well. And you will also see those that have endorsed me. I know that in Fresno, a lot of people know David Tangapub, also Reform California, Carl DeMaio, State Senator, well, Shannon Grove. A lot of people in your area might know Shannon Grove. So I have a list of endorsed people that have approved of my stance when it comes to insurance. So that would be a great place, Stacy for insurancecommissioner.com, to learn more about me and my stance.
Are you on social media?
I am. You can find me on X at Korsgaden, at Korsgaden. Or on Facebook and Instagram, kind of my least favorite, but a lot of people like to go there. You can look for Stacy Korsgaden and I'll pop up. I've got a personal page, but look for the one that has for insurance commissioner.
Okay. All those matter because they're all different ways to reach people. In today's
Absolutely.
world, if you don't use social media, I think you're leaving an important part out of the equation. So something that I might suggest is if you could use social media to let people know where you might be traveling and speaking, because I know you're traveling throughout California. If they wanted to see you, they could look up and go, hey, in August, Stacy's here in my county. I can go see what she's doing, and I can ask the specific questions that I have for her.
Absolutely. I know that probably one of the biggest events that I'm holding is up in Tuolumne County. County supervisor is holding a town hall for me there. That'll be a big event. And while we're talking, I'll get that date for you. But yes, I do have events that I do post on social media. So please like my page and you will be notified where I'm going to be in my events. That would be great.
On day one, what easy wins could you get if you were elected? I mean, because there's all of these, I got to fix this big structural thing, but is there some relief you could get for the California voters, whether it's prices or availability on day one?
The biggest concern I'm hearing across the state is just those two, availability and price. The first thing that I will do is welcome new insurance companies into the state of California. And some people think, well, my gosh, that's going to take forever. No, it's not. I talked to an executive about a month ago that called our Department of Insurance. No one picked up the phone.
Wow.
No one called him back. And he was going to bring a portfolio of homeowners insurance into the state. He turned his back on California. He went to 6 different states and he was approved to write business in less than a week in all of them. So the new business division, day one, the insurance companies are going to have, right now it says close for business. I'm going to flip the sign and it's going to say we're open. We have to have capital and companies come back to the state of California for competition. We need to compete for the consumer. That's going to improve cost and coverage and accessibility. Day one. And also on day one, I will begin an audit, a complete assessment of the department and how it's run, because we need to reassign capital to make sure that our fraud department is best of class. Best of class. I don't know if I got a break in my. Hopefully you heard that.
No, that was good. The audio was good.
Okay, good. Best of class, because we have to detect and punish fraud. Because in your insurance policy, you're paying for fraud. Mm-hmm. We want to reduce the cost of insurance, so we have to penalize fraud. And then the next thing is I will be in communication with our leaders, both the governor and our Senate leaders and our those in the assembly, our legislature, and I'm going to say, here's our punch list. This is our punch list. These are the things that we need to have a safe and secure home environment for the state of California to make us insurable. This is what we need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. And I'm going to be the communicator to our legislators to say, this is what we need. And once that will start, that will start our change in California.
So I would just ask if this is possible, and I know there are state regulations, but what I find is I hear about an audit occasionally and this or that at the state level, and yet it is exceedingly difficult to find out the details of the audit. We lack transparency. Is there a way that if you did an audit of your department that it could be much more transparent? I realize you can't give out people's names, but you could talk about what happened, and there's a real lack of that. For instance, Governor Newsom's been vetoed several opportunities to audit things.
It's a disgrace. It's our money. So you have my commitment that as much as legally and efficiently regarding our audit. And then I will also continue showing our progress against that audit. I've been on several boards, and when I'm on a board of a nonprofit, nonprofits are a great example of where you can funnel fraud. We see it in our state all the time. But I have been a participant and a board member of nonprofits, and I've turned nonprofits into being very dysfunctional into very highly functional nonprofits by transparency, financial transparency, and accountability. We have to do that at the state of California. I'm looking at this as a 4-year job, and what you will be able to see as a consumer is more product, competitive pricing, more accessibility, and accountability at the Department of Insurance. Accountability is so overrated. Well, what's accountability? My role will be to bring in more insurance companies, hold those insurance companies accountable. They have to honor their contract. That's how I advocate for the consumer. So we have to have a division at the department that's going to serve. Remember, I got accolades with my company. Out of 15,000 agents, I was the top 150 for service. We're going to bring that to the Department of Insurance. I've called the Department of Insurance because I, as an agent, had a complaint, and I just got blown off. There's good people there, I'm sure, but they need a leader that's going to direct them to serve the people of California, the insurance agents, and the insurance companies. It's all one entity that needs to be served. So in those 4 years, you're going to see better service and more accountability.
With 1,400 employees, and you said $300 and some odd million, $350 million budget, you're going to need a team. You can't do all this yourself. Do you have a team already? Do you have people in mind that could be department heads and things like that can step in and help you? Because you said audit's one of your first things, and then opening the door to business. So I assume you're going to need some people that would be kind of bridging those gaps. Even if, do you have the authority, if you got that, to bring those people in immediately?
I do.
Okay.
The commissioner. Well, let me tell you what we've had and what we will have with me. When we hired or voted in Ricardo Lara, which was 8 years ago, he did not really have a private job, and he knew nothing about insurance. So how would he be able to direct or lead a department of insurance? We have the results. He wasn't able to do it, and he has been a failure. On the opposite end will be me, for almost 40 years of experience. I know what insurance is. I know what needs to happen to have a lot of it. And so the department, in developing this new business division, we will interview. People can apply. We have very talented people in California that would be interested in that role, in seeing insurance companies come back to California in droves. Right now, we have a very dysfunctional insurance environment because we really only have 4 to 7 companies. We don't want that. It's really bad because those companies are overburdened with risk. They want to stay, but they don't want to stay. The insurance commissioner wants to pick on them, but they want them to stay. What we want to do is bring in competition where the existing companies are going to have to fight like mad to keep their book. The public, I want the public to be able to pick and choose new companies, new opportunities for them to shop and get better service and better coverage. And right now, the world is changing. We have AI. The old models aren't serving us well. Let's bring in new opportunities to serve California.
We're down to about a minute and a half.
Okay.
Your website again, and then why are you hopeful for the state and for yourself?
I can be reached at stacy4insurancecommissioner.com. I am applying for the job for insurance commissioner, and I ask your audience to consider me because I will be a tireless advocate for you to have an opportunity to purchase insurance that fits your needs and your family's needs and your business needs. I know what's broken and I know how to fix it. We can do it in California. We can have abundance in all areas. I will focus on the insurance portion. Let's get other people in other roles that know how to win. I know how to win in this area. My name is Stacy Korsgaden. Thanks for having me on, Eric.
I hope and absolutely wish you the best. You have my endorsement, and soon you will have a check in the mail to support your campaign.
What an honor. Thank you so much.
Stacy, go out there and change California. Folks,
will do. Amen.
We can make a difference. You just have to get involved.
Thank you.
So I try to highlight people that are getting involved. Thank you, Stacy. You have a good day.
You too.